The wind howled through the rocky canyons of planet Serana 5. Dust danced like spirits in the fading light of the twin suns. Jalen, a young human technician with short brown hair and tired eyes, checked his equipment as he stood outside the broken communication tower. His orders were simple: repair the relay and return to base before nightfall, but nothing on Serana 5 ever stayed simple. Jalen's scanner beeped strangely. He frowned. The tower wasn't just damaged. Something had triggered a power overload deep inside. His boots crunched over gravel as he followed the signal toward a collapsed cave entrance. Part of the cliff had crumbled, and below the rocks was a faint pulsing light. Curious and cautious, he moved the debris aside. That's when he saw her. A woman, clearly alien, lay trapped beneath a heavy slab of stone. Her skin was pale blue with a soft glow. Her long silver hair was tangled, her outfit torn in places, and her eyes snapped open the moment she saw him. "Don't move," Jalen said, raising his hands in peace. "I can't anyway," she replied with a weak voice. "But you're human?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah." "And you're Virea," she whispered, "of House Sereth." He'd heard of them, a noble race, rarely seen outside their crystal cities. They were powerful, psychic, and secretive. And here was one, buried under rock, looking up at him like he was her only hope. Jalen acted quickly. Using a portable lifter, he shifted the heavy slab off her. She winced, but soon she was free. He offered her a hand, and that's when it happened. The moment their hands touched, a warm surge of energy flowed through both of them. His skin tingled, and his vision blurred for half a second. He gasped and staggered back. She stayed frozen, staring at their hands. "No," she muttered. "It can't be." "What was that?" Jalen asked, breathing heavily. Virea didn't answer right away. She looked at him with wide, uncertain eyes. "The bond." "What bond?" She slowly stood, her body still weak, but her presence powerful. "My people. We have a psychic connection used only for choosing a mate. It's rare. It only happens once in a lifetime and never with a human." Jalen laughed nervously. "You must be mistaken. I'm just a guy with a toolbox." She shook her head. "No mistake. The moment we touched, I felt it. And I know you did too." Jalen looked away. He had felt something. But it was impossible, right? Just a trick of adrenaline? "Let's get out of here," he said, trying to change the subject. "You're hurt. You need medical help." "I can't go back," she said. "Why not?" "They'll sense the bond. And they'll come for us. My people will not allow this to exist." He stared at her, confused. "But I didn't ask for this." "Neither did I," she said softly. "But now we're connected." They made their way back toward the relay tower. Night had begun to fall, and Serana 5's moons appeared in the sky. The air was colder, and strange sounds echoed in the distance. Jalen patched the tower quickly while Virea watched. She said little but kept close, as if afraid to be too far from him. "Why would they care so much?" Jalen asked as he tightened a panel. Virea hesitated. "The bond is sacred. It links minds, hearts, even lifespans. If you were one of my kind, it would be a cause for celebration. But humans are unpredictable." "We're not that bad," Jalen said with a smirk. "You're dangerous," she replied. "And still, I don't want to be away from you now." He turned to face her. In the low light, her expression was a mix of fear and something deeper, something gentle. Jalen felt a strange pull in his chest. Not romantic, not yet. Just a closeness he couldn't explain. They set up camp under an overhang near the relay. The fire flickered as Virea sat beside it, warming her hands. Jalen passed her a ration bar. "It tastes like old socks," he warned. She bit into it anyway. "Still better than starvation." Jalen chuckled, then grew quiet. "What happens now?" Virea looked up at the stars. "I don't know. I've broken the rules. You're in danger just by being near me. Then tell me how to break the bond. Her eyes narrowed. Do you really want that? He opened his mouth, but no answer came. Did he want to forget the warmth he felt when he touched her? The quiet, comfort in her voice, the strange way their thoughts sometimes echoed one another. I don't know, he admitted. Varela stood, walked slowly to him, and placed her hand on his chest. It's not just a feeling, it's energy, memory, soul. Even if you try to deny it, the bond will stay unless both of us reject it. And if one accepts, he asked, then it deepens. She leaned forward. Her lips brushed his cheek lightly, barely a kiss. But Jalen felt it through his whole body. Like a spark in the cold. She whispered, You belong to me now, human. But I belong to you too. He didn't know what to say. In the silence, the stars watched. And far in the distance, something else stirred. Alien ships searching, energy sensors sweeping the land. The bond had awakened something ancient. And the world would never be the same again. The fire burned low as dawn approached. Jalen sat awake, staring into the glowing embers, his mind restless. Varela lay a few feet away, asleep but uneasy. Her body curled slightly, as if she could still feel the tension in the air. He kept thinking about her words. You belong to me now, human. It was strange, bold, even frightening. And yet, he didn't feel angry or trapped. He felt different, connected, like her presence filled a missing space in his soul. But the world outside didn't care about feelings, especially not between humans and aliens. As the sun began to rise, Varela stirred. Her silver hair shimmered in the soft light, and when her eyes opened, they found him immediately. You didn't sleep. I couldn't, Jalen admitted. Too much going on in my head. She sat up, brushing dust from her clothes. I felt your mind buzzing all night. It was hard to rest. You can feel my thoughts now? Only the loud ones, she said gently. The bond is still new. It will grow stronger. He stood and stretched. Great. So I won't be able to hide anything. She smiled faintly. Don't worry. I don't want to control you. The bond isn't about power. It's about trust. He looked at her carefully. Then tell me the truth. What happens if your people find us? Varela's smile vanished. They'll try to separate us. How? There are rituals, she said softly. Painful ones, dangerous. And if the bond is already sealed with a kiss. She paused. Separation could damage the soul. Jalen blinked. You're serious? I wish I wasn't. A low hum filled the morning air. Jalen quickly grabbed his scanner and checked the reading. We've got a problem. Varela closed her eyes, then opened them with a sharp breath. They're here. Hovercraft engines echoed through the canyons. A patrol ship, slim and sharp, marked with the royal seal of House Sereth, hovered in the distance, scanning the land. We have to move, Varela said. But where? Jalen asked. There's a place. Ancient ruins, buried in the cliffs. My ancestors built them long ago. If we can reach it, we'll be safe from scans. And how far is it? Half a day's walk if we move quickly. Without waiting, Varela led the way. Jalen followed, his pack bouncing on his back, heart racing with each step. They walked fast, climbing narrow paths and ducking under stone arches as the sun rose higher. Varela's breathing was still rough. She hadn't fully recovered from the injury, but she never slowed down. Jalen noticed how she would pause now and then to touch a stone, close her eyes and whisper in a language he couldn't understand. When he asked about it, she said, These stones, remember, I asked them for guidance. You talk to rocks? He teased. She raised an eyebrow. They've seen more than you. Despite everything, Jalen laughed. Her confidence, even when afraid, amazed him. She wasn't cold or distant like the stories said her kind were. She was real, strong and strange, but still kind. By midday they reached the edge of a cliff. Below, a wide canyon stretched out, and in its center stood the ruins of what looked like a forgotten temple. Virea stopped, placing a hand over her chest. "This is the place," she whispered. "How do we get in?" Jalen asked. Virea stepped forward and pressed her hand to a stone plate covered in alien markings. Nothing happened at first. Then a soft pulse of light ran through the stone. The ground shook gently. A staircase opened beneath them, leading down into the earth. Jalen stared. "You were serious. I told you. This place belongs to my bloodline." They went down slowly. The stairs led into a dark hallway, lit by faint blue crystals embedded in the walls. The air smelled old, but not dead. It felt peaceful. Inside, carvings lined the walls, images of beings like Virea, standing beside other forms that looked strangely human. "Your people knew humans?" Jalen asked, surprised. "Not exactly," Virea said, "but they believed in a future where two races, different yet equal, would find each other. The bond was created for that purpose. And now we're part of that?" She nodded. "We may be the first to rediscover it." They reached a chamber in the heart of the temple. A round platform stood in the middle, surrounded by crystal pillars. When they stepped into the room, the pillars lit up softly. "The bond is awakening the temple," Virea said with wonder. "So what does this mean?" Jalen asked, stepping onto the platform beside her. "It means we're not alone. The bond between us is old, older than either of our worlds can remember." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from above. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They found us," Jalen said. "No," Virea replied, eyes glowing. "They'll not enter this place, not without paying a price." She reached out and took his hand again. The moment their fingers touched, a surge of warmth pulsed through the room. The pillars glowed brighter and lines of light ran through the walls. Symbols began to shift and change. A holographic map appeared before them. Stars, planets, and a glowing path between two galaxies. Jalen stared. "What is this?" Virea whispered. "It's a path. A message left by the ancients. The bond isn't just about love. It's a key to something much bigger." More pounding echoed from above. The patrol was trying to break in. Jalen looked at her. "Do we stay and fight?" She held his gaze. "No, we leave, but now we know the truth. They can chase us, but they can't stop what has started." As they turned to leave, the platform lowered them deeper into the earth. A hidden exit awaited them, far beyond where the patrol could follow. In the darkness, their hands stayed together, connected, unbroken. And beyond the stars, something ancient began to stir again, watching the bond between a human and an alien light the way forward. The tunnel opened to a hidden valley, green, quiet, untouched by technology or war. Birds with crystal feathers flew above, and gentle streams carved paths through the soft earth. Jalen stepped out into the sunlight, eyes wide in surprise. "This place, and it's like another world," he said. Virea nodded beside him, her face calm for the first time since they had met. "This is the sanctuary of Yalari. It was built to protect bonded souls like ours. Only those with the bond can find it." They had escaped the patrol, but not for long. Jalen knew both Human Command and Virea's people would be searching for them. And yet, standing here, surrounded by peace and nature, he almost forgot the danger. They followed a stone path toward an ancient tree at the valley's center. Its silver leaves shimmered in the breeze. Virea stopped and placed her hand on the trunk. The tree pulsed with light. "This is where the bond must be tested," she said. "Tested?" Jalen raised an eyebrow. "Didn't we already go through enough?" She looked at him softly. "That was only the beginning. If we truly want to keep this bond, we must pass the trial of truth. Only then will the bond be fully accepted by the ancestors." Jalen frowned. "And if we fail?" Virea's eyes lowered. "Then we'll forget each other. The bond will break, and you'll return to your life, as if we never met." The thought of forgetting her sent a cold chill down Jalen's spine. He didn't want to lose this feeling. He didn't want to lose her. "I'm ready," he said. The trial of truth wasn't a battle. It wasn't even something Jalen could touch. It happened inside the mind. They sat on the ground, back to back, palms pressed together. Virea whispered ancient words, and soon their minds began to blend. At first, Jalen saw flashes, memories not his own. A young Virea, standing before a crystal throne. Her parents speaking of honor, of tradition, of never breaking the old laws. A lonely girl staring out a window, longing for something beyond her world. Then the visions changed. He saw himself, moments of weakness, of doubt. The day he was rejected from flight school. The time he watched his brother leave for Earth and never return. The feeling of never being enough. Virea saw it all. "You carry so much pain," she said gently, her voice echoing in the shared space. "So do you," Jalen replied. Then came the storm. A wall of dark energy, doubt, fear, judgment rushed at them. It was the final test. "Hold on," Virea shouted in his mind. "Don't let go of me." Jalen gritted his teeth. The energy pressed against them like a wave trying to pull them apart. But he focused on her voice, her presence, her hand in his. Together they pushed back, and suddenly the storm shattered. They opened their eyes at the same time, gasping for air. The sky above the valley turned golden, and the great tree glowed brighter than before. "We did it," Virea said, her voice trembling with joy. "The bond is true." Jalen smiled, still breathing hard. "Yeah, I felt it." Their celebration didn't last long. A beam of light shot down from the sky, landing on a nearby hill. A human dropship, painted in black and gray, had landed. Armed soldiers marched down the ramp, weapons ready. Virea's face turned pale. "They found us." "How?" Jalen whispered. "We were hidden. The trial's energy must have drawn them." One of the soldiers stepped forward, helmet off. A woman with sharp eyes and a stern voice called out, "Jalen, you're coming with us." He didn't move. "Why?" "You're accused of forming an unauthorized bond with a non-human. That breaks treaty law." Jalen clenched his fists. It wasn't a choice. It just happened. "Doesn't matter," the officer said. "Orders are clear." Virea stepped in front of him. "If you touch him, you'll answer to me." The soldiers raised their weapons. The leader pointed at Virea. "Stand down, alien." Before anything else could happen, another sound filled the sky. A massive golden ship descended slowly, covering the valley in shadow. This was no human craft. It was a royal vessel of House Sereth. From its side, a glowing ramp descended. Alien guards in white armor stepped down, followed by a tall figure in silver robes, Virea's older brother, Lord Salen. "Virea," he said in a cold, powerful voice, "come with us. End this madness." "I won't," she replied, standing, tall. "I've chosen him." Salen looked at Jalen with disgust. "He is not one of us." "He doesn't need to be," Virea said. "The bond chose him." The human officer stepped between them. "This is human territory. We'll handle this." Salen narrowed his eyes. "You have no authority here." Jalen looked between the two sides. "You're going to fight each other over us." "No," Virea said suddenly. "We won't let them." She grabbed Jalen's hand and walked toward the tree again. The moment they touched the bark, the valley began to hum. Light spread across the ground, and both alien and human troops paused, confused. The tree responded to the bond, opening a new path. A message appeared in the air above them, written in both alien script and human language. "Peace comes not from power, but from unity." Everyone stared. The human officer lowered her weapon. Salen stepped back, silent. In that moment, no one dared to break the peace of the valley. That night, under the tree, Jalen and Virea sat side by side. "What happens next?" he asked quietly. She leaned on his shoulder. "We've shown them the bond is real. Maybe now they'll stop fearing it. Or maybe they'll fear it more." Either way, she said, looking up at the stars, we're not running anymore. He nodded. Good, because I'm tired of running. They stayed like that, hand in hand, hearts joined by something older than war, older than fear. And far above them, the stars began to shift, as if the universe itself was watching, waiting, and quietly changing. The morning light filtered through the thick leaves of the ancient tree, casting dancing shadows on Jalen and Varaya as they sat beneath its branches. The valley's peaceful calm was a stark contrast to the turmoil they knew was coming. Both, the humans and Varaya's people, were watching them closely now. The bond was no longer a secret. It was a challenge to centuries of laws and fears. Varaya looked at Jalen, her eyes full of resolve. The trial of the ancients is our next step, she said softly. It will prove to both our worlds that this bond is true and strong. If we pass, the elders must accept us. Jalen swallowed hard. What kind of trial? It is a test of mind and spirit, Varaya explained. We will face visions from our past, our fears, and our truths. It will be difficult, but it is the only way to protect what we share. Jalen nodded. He wasn't sure what awaited him, but he trusted Varaya. And if this trial could keep them together, he would face anything. They entered the temple once again, the glowing crystals lighting their path as the silence wrapped around them. At the center chamber, the great tree's roots opened, revealing a pool of shimmering water. This pool shows the deepest parts of ourselves, Varaya said, kneeling by the edge. We must look into it and face what lies within. Jalen joined her, peering into the water. The surface rippled like a mirror, but soon the reflections shifted into visions, memories, fears, hopes. For Jalen, the first vision was of his childhood. A small boy watching his father leave for a distant war, promising to return. But the father never came back. The boy's eyes filled with tears. Then the scene changed. His mother working 2 jobs to keep the family alive. The boy growing, up strong but alone. Jalen's breath caught. These memories were painful but real. The pool showed him his deepest sorrow and loneliness. Beside him, Varaya's reflection appeared. She saw herself as a young girl in a crystal palace surrounded by silence and cold walls. Her parents teaching her to hide her feelings, to never show weakness. Her longing to break free from tradition. The pool shimmered again, and now the reflections intertwined. Jalen and Varaya saw moments where their lives could have crossed in the past, the origins of their bond. The pool whispered ancient stories of unity and separation. Suddenly, the chamber darkened. The pool's surface became a stormy sea, tossing visions of fear and doubt. Shadows reached out to them, voices echoing harsh words. You do not belong together. This bond is unnatural. You will fail. Varaya grabbed Jalen's hand tightly. Do not listen. Hold on to me. Jalen squeezed back. I'm here. We'll face it together. The storm grew stronger. They felt waves of cold and loneliness crashing over them. Jalen's mind filled with questions. Was he truly worthy of Varaya's trust? Could he protect her? Could he live up to the bond? Varaya faced her own fears, losing him, betraying her people, being abandoned. Together they closed their eyes and breathed deeply. They reached deep inside, finding the strength to push back the shadows. The power of their connection became a shield, a light in the darkness. With a burst of energy, the storm shattered. Light returned to the chamber. The pool's surface was calm once more, reflecting their faces, no longer filled with fear, but with hope. Varaya smiled, her eyes bright. We passed the trial of the ancients. Our bond is recognized by the elders of our past. Jalen nodded, feeling lighter than he had in weeks. I feel it too. Like we're connected in ways I can't explain. Yes, Varaya said. Our bond is not just emotion. It is ancient energy. It has power. Suddenly the ground trembled. The temple walls hummed as ancient symbols lit up all around them. From the crystals, beams of light shot upward, disappearing into the sky. Outside, both human and alien forces watched in awe. The activation of the temple's energy was a sign. The bond had awakened something long forgotten. That night, Jalen and Varaya camped near the valley's edge, the stars shining bright above. They spoke quietly of the future. "What do you think our worlds will say?" Jalen asked. Varaya shrugged. "Some will fear us. Others may see hope. But no matter what, we have changed the story." He looked at her, heart pounding. "I'm glad I'm in this with you." She reached for his hand, smiling softly. "So am I." Far away in a distant chamber, a council of elders from Varaya's people watched the temple's light. Their faces were grim but thoughtful. One elder spoke quietly. "The bond between human and alien has awakened the ancients' legacy. We cannot ignore it." Another elder nodded. "The trial has been passed. It is time to decide if we accept this new future or fight it." Back at the sanctuary, Jalen and Varaya knew the real test was only beginning. The bond they shared was strong, but it would be challenged by politics, fear, and old traditions. Yet, as they looked at the sky and felt the power flowing through them, they knew one thing for sure. Together, they were unstoppable. The sky over the valley burned with the light from the ancient temple. Beams of energy shot high into the atmosphere, visible for miles around. Word of the human and alien bond had spread quickly, and leaders from both worlds arrived to see the miracle with their own eyes. Jalen and Varaya stood together beneath the great silver tree. Their hands were joined, their bond stronger than ever after the trial of the ancients. Around them, the air shimmered with energy. The awakening of the ancients' legacy had begun. From the human side, Commander Rael stepped forward. Her uniform crisp, her eyes sharp with curiosity and respect. "We came to stop this," she said, glancing at Jalen. "But now, I don't know what to think." Jalen nodded slowly. "Neither did I. But this bond, it's more than just two people. It's a bridge." Varaya smiled. "A bridge between our worlds, something our ancestors hoped for." Just then, the temple's power pulsed again. Crystals on the pillars lit up in sync, and an ancient hologram appeared above the platform. It showed a star map, glowing lines connecting different planets, humans and aliens alike. "The bond activates the ancient network," Varaya explained. "It can unite our species like never before." Suddenly, a group of alien elders arrived, led by Lord Salen, Varaya's brother. His face was stern but less hostile than before. "This bond challenges everything we believe," Salen said. "But the trial has proven its power. We must reconsider." Commander Rael spoke again. "Our leaders will need proof. Something to show that this bond is real and benefits both sides." At that moment, Jalen stepped forward. "Let me show you." He took Varaya's hand. Together they raised their joined hands toward the sky. Energy flowed from their bond into the temple, and the ancient machinery began to hum. A soft wave of light spread outwards, connecting distant satellites and communication towers across the galaxy. The leaders gasped. "This is the legacy of the ancients," Varaya said. "A gift of unity." Over the next days, Jalen and Varaya traveled between human and alien settlements. Wherever they went, their bond activated old technology. Ships powered up, communications improved, even damaged habitats healed faster. The people saw what the elders had not, that the bond between them was a key to a better future. In a council meeting, leaders from both species gathered. Jalen and Varaya stood before them hand in hand. "I know many fear change," Jalen said, voice steady, "but we must learn to trust each other. Our bond is proof that unity is possible." Varaya added, "Our ancestors left us this legacy for a reason. Together we can build peace." Slowly, the council members nodded. The ancient fear began to fade. One evening, beneath a sky filled with stars, Jalen and Varaya returned to the valley where their journey began. They sat beneath the silver tree, its leaves whispering softly in the night breeze. "You changed everything," Jalen said quietly. Varaya smiled, her hand resting on his. No, we changed everything. Together. He looked into her eyes, full of hope and love. Do you remember the first time we met? She asked. Jalen laughed softly. How could I forget? You were trapped under a rock glowing like a star. She chuckled. And you thought I was just some strange alien. Now I know you're much more. Varaya leaned closer. And now you belong to me. Jalen smiled, pulling her gently into a kiss. It was soft, full of promise and new beginnings. As their lips parted, a soft voice echoed in the valley. It was the voice of the ancients, carried on the wind. Unity is strength. Love is power. Together, the future is yours. Jalen and Varaya smiled, knowing their bond was just the beginning. They stood, ready to face whatever the universe would bring, side by side, united by a touch, a kiss, and a promise that nothing would ever be the same.